Food insecurity and food waste are on the rise in America, and the Giving Plate has resolved to make an impact in our community. Our mission is to alleviate hunger, prevent food waste, and bridge the gap between hunger and need, making sure everyone has access to food. By rescuing perfectly good food that is destined for the landfill and redirecting it to those in need, the Giving Plate is creating a better community on many levels. We envision a world where hunger is the least of worries and food waste is a thing of the past. Working together with our community, we can increase the health of our people, our neighborhoods, the economy, and the environment. The Giving Plate operates by creating relationships with local restaurants, grocers, and farmers that donate good food that would normally be put in the landfill and redirecting it to the food insecure population of Wichita County. By redirecting the fresh food that would normally be thrown away, we reduce food waste while giving emergency food programs fresh produce and healthy meals for those in need. After learning that over 1.3 billion tons of food is thrown away worldwide, the seed was planted that would be an innovative way to feed the hungry in Wichita County and surrounding areas. According to the Wichita Falls Area Food Bank, 1 in 6 adults and 1 in 4 children in their service area needs services to supplement food. This is about 37,530 people. The Census Bureau listed Wichita Falls with a 20.9% poverty rate in 2018. Food waste is a companion to hunger on a global scale. Approximately 40% of available food supply ends up in a landfill. Most of this food is still in good condition for consuming, but not pretty enough for retailers to sell. Water, fuel, labor, and materials are also wasted. This waste costs the economy about $218 billion every year. According to the World Wildlife Fund, food waste generates 11% of the world's greenhouse emissions, which contributes to global warming. These emissions are equal to about 37 million cars. Food banks and pantries can only supply what they are given or can purchase with monetary donations. A food rescue and distribution program will get more usable food to those who need it. There are many such organizations across the United States. City Harvest in New York City began 39 years ago collecting potatoes from a local restaurant when they threw the potatoes away. Today, they have a fleet of trucks and collect over 144 million pounds of food and help feed over 1 million New Yorkers. Forgotten Harvest in Detroit, Michigan delivers around 138,000 pounds of food every day to 280 emergency food providers in the Detroit area. These are just 2 examples of successful programs that are focused on food rescue and caring for the food insecure population of their towns. Hunger affects people on many levels. The American Academy of Pediatrics revealed that mothers with school-aged children who face severe hunger are 56% more likely to have PTSD and 53% more likely to have severe depression. The inability to feed your loved ones can have traumatic effects on a person's mental health. Children are affected too. 50% of children that face food insecurity will end up repeating a grade. For preschoolers, compared to children with no hunger, severe hunger was associated with homelessness, 75% versus 48%. They have more traumatic life events, low birth weight, and higher levels of chronic illness and internalizing behavior problems. According to the USDA, there is a strong connection between hunger and chronic illnesses like high blood pressure, heart disease, and diabetes. Hunger is just not about an empty stomach. It affects a person on many levels. Hunger is not just an issue for the homeless. Many families cannot stretch their paycheck enough to provide for their families. The Giving Plate offers a service that will fill that gap to give children the energy they need to concentrate in school and grow healthy. We provide a way for mothers and fathers to feel like they are providing for their families and hopefully avoid the negative impact on health that comes with the lack of nutrition. The Giving Plate has developed a 4-step strategy for alleviating hunger, preventing food waste, and bridging the gap between hunger and the need to make sure everyone has access to nutritious food. Our approach is rescue, redirect, revive, and restore. Let us look at each of these steps and how they affect the person, the community, the economy, and the environment. As mentioned earlier, 40% of all food produced is thrown away. Why not take this perfectly good food out of that process and use it to feed those identified as food insecure? The Giving Plate focuses on collecting this food from grocers, restaurants, hotels, caterers, and farmers. Not only do we feed the hungry, but we lessen the impact on the environment by reducing greenhouse emissions and reducing the amount of landfill space needed. It's a win-win opportunity for all involved. Food that is collected will be redirected to local organizations that provide emergency assistance. These organizations include the Salvation Army, Faith Mission, Faith Refuge, Meals on Wheels, and local churches that serve low-income families. Pop-up events around the community will be scheduled regularly to reach those persons that choose not to participate in the services provided through local organizations. Locations will be chosen by area of highest need and rotated weekly to reach the maximum number of people possible. By redirecting as much usable food as possible away from the landfill, we not only feed people but save many resources too. Water, fuel, labor, and materials are also wasted and cost the American economy about $218 billion a year. The environmental costs are huge. Agriculture accounts for up to 80% of freshwater consumption in the U.S. To produce 8 ounces of strawberries, it takes about 10 gallons of water, whereas 6 ounces of steak requires an exorbitant 674 gallons of water. Instead of allowing our natural resources to run down the drain, we will divert food where it's needed most. Most people receiving food assistance suffer from the stigma of asking for help. Food insecurity, among many other socioeconomic factors that accompany it, can leave individuals feeling powerless and lacking control of their own lives. The Giving Plate wants to help restore dignity to those that are suffering with food insecurity. Not by giving a handout, but by offering a hand that will help them out of the cycle of poverty. Providing for one's family brings back a sense of power and control that was lost, and in the long run will lead to a more successful life. Understanding that hunger is not the only problem for our clients, the Giving Plate will also be a hub for other services that may be needed. Pop-up events will have a selection of agencies and organizations on site so that there is ready access to basic medical care, job and education opportunities, and housing assistance. Hunger exists everywhere, in every country around the globe. We can begin to change this by doing sensible things. Rescuing and redirecting good food to those that need it is sensible. With close to 50 million people expected to suffer from food insecurity in 2021 alone, it is unacceptable that food is thrown away because it is not pretty. The Giving Plate will stand in the gap, becoming the voice for those that may be afraid to speak up or do not know how to make their voice heard. These people are underserved as they struggle to provide for themselves and their families. We will give them food for their body, a sense of self-worth, and a helping hand out of the cycle of poverty and shame. Thank you.